Hey everybody, it's April and it's International Yoga Day, so we are celebrating with a plank. Woohoo! What a surprise. So planking is one of the greatest ways, one of the best yoga poses that I know of, and this is our plank break, so this is what we're going to do to celebrate International Yoga Day. So since it's Monday, I will switch around. I'll start on forearms. You can plank however you like, and we'll just get going here. So starting off, bring your hands around your biceps so you know you have the right width for your arms. And then bring your forearms out in front of you. You can interlace your fingers if you like. I usually like to do that myself. Pull your shoulder blades together, reach them down your back, then lift your upper back, lift your chest, pull in your belly, come up on your toes, and then shift your weight forward slightly. So the timer has begun. And then remember, once you get into that plank, go back over it again, just a little bit. Really pull in your belly even more. And maybe you shift forward a little bit more. So you don't want your hips sticking up because that really just becomes a dolphin. And you absolutely don't want your hips to sag because that's going to put too much pressure on your lower back. So we're clipping along here. We're almost up to 30 seconds. Actually, we're at 28, so I'm just going to keep talking. One thing I looked up was the Sanskrit name for plank, since this is the International Day of Yoga. And Kumbhakasana is one of them, and then the other was Phalakasana. So I looked up it either way. It looked like either one was the appropriate Sanskrit for plank. If anybody else has an idea about that, you can let me know. Kumbhakasana is the one I think I've heard the most for plank. Some other research I did about International Yoga Day. We're at 1 minute, switching to my hands. Remember, every time you switch, come back to that good form. Separate your shoulders again. Pull in your belly. Press your heels back, press into the floor. Make sure you're lifting your upper back, keeping your shoulders separated. We're at 117, by the way. So International Yoga Day, one of the reasons why it is on June 21st is because this is the longest day of the year. So that's one reason why they do that. It's also the summer solstice, 1:30. And I didn't know that it is actually something that was passed in the United Nations in 2015. And that all the countries pretty much signed on with it. They thought it was a good idea. Even though a lot of times yoga can be somewhat controversial, which I don't understand, but because it's not a religion and it's really just a way of uniting the body and the mind. That's the intent of yoga, and why wouldn't we want to do that? 2 minutes. So I'm going to come back down on my forearms. Remember, every time you switch, come back to your good form. I'm lifting a leg. Just because, and it helps make it a little, I don't know, adds a little variety, makes it a little more challenging. You may think it doesn't need to be any more challenging at all, but I just like to do that. So whenever you do lift a leg, though, make sure you're not opening your hip too much. So again, we're looking for unity with the body, the mind, spirit, creating harmony. We're at 2:30. And plank is a great way to do that because you're really working on every major muscle group while you're planking. You're also concentrating, focusing, making sure, even telling yourself, yes, I can do this. I can keep going. Even when the tough gets, it starts getting tough, you get tougher, and that's important. And that's a uniting. That's uniting your body, your mind, and your spirit, and keeping things going. And 3 minutes, I'm switching to side plank. And it's also, again, boosting your mood, which I've talked about many times. And who doesn't want that? So that's one of the best things about doing planks or any form of exercise, but in particular yoga. You're really helping to reunite everything in your body, create harmony, and keeping your mind open, really working on concentrating. We're coming up on 3:30. Here we go. Switching sides. So you're strengthening your mind muscle as well as your other muscles in your body. And that's an important thing to do. And that's one of the things that makes yoga so great. It's that concentration. And even if you aren't practicing yoga where you're sitting there and making a conscious effort to meditate, which in hot yoga we don't usually do that. However, 4 minutes, anytime you're focusing on something and you're not dwelling on your grocery list or all the things you have to do, you're not thinking about the past or worrying about what's going on in the future, it is a small form of meditation. And that's okay. You know, you have to kind of stay in the now. Bring yourself back to what you're doing, what you're supposed to be doing with yourself, which a lot of times we don't know for sure. We just have to keep doing the best we can and hope that we're making a difference. And we're at 4:33. So we're going to keep going. I'm going to keep calling this Kumbhakasana and working on, again, uniting your body, your mind, your spirit by practicing your yoga. And you know, I've heard some people say they don't like yoga at 4:50 because it's a religious thing, and it really isn't. You know, you may find that you become more spiritual, but is that a bad thing? I mean, to become more spiritual, everybody has their own path for that. Oh, we're at 5 minutes. I'm going to keep going just because. I'm going to hold a few seconds longer. You've got this. And we're at 5:11, so I've got just a few more seconds. And 5:15. Yay. Okay, so remember, try to plank. Try to do something today in honor of International Yoga Day. Maybe you do sun salutations. You know, 108 is the ones that what most people do on in the summer solstice. So if you can do that, that would be great as well. See you again tomorrow.